Morning. Just after 6 a.m. She sees a bunny. Yes, I failed to get my dishes done. Last night I fell asleep watching a movie, and when I woke up, I opted to go upstairs and go to bed. So it's a small price to pay this morning to get these done, and then we're going to transition into making some breakfast. After we get these dishes done, we're going to make some toast. Not really toast, just put some guacamole on here. And I did put the air fryer away that you see at the edge of the screen. Again, I fell asleep last night. If you're curious about the seasoning, it's just everything bagel seasoning. And you know we got to get some coffee going because that's the go juice in the morning. Good morning. Welcome back. If you're just tuning in for the first time, thanks for popping in. If you're returning, thanks even more for coming back. Appreciate you tuning in. You know, not everybody that lives RV life is constantly on the move. And for us right now, that is the reality. If you recall or happen to see some of our previous videos, you know that we sold our sticks and bricks so that we could utilize the return on investment. That return on investment is going to be put towards our retirement property. And we are about 10 years out from retirement, más o menos, but the idea being that we were using the last bit of the COVID seller's market to make a little extra money on the house. And now we're thinking about how do we want to spend that? Window shopping, if you will, on retirement property, although we've narrowed in on a particular location. So not everybody is moving all the time who lives RV life. And for right now, I'm stationary. I don't know what life holds. I probably won't pretend to be any sort of a psychic and know what's coming down the road. But I know that Monday through Friday, I have a job to do and I have people who rely on me. So I'm going to get up and go do those things and continue to focus on living life outside of the work that I do in the evenings and on the weekends as well. And that means some of the quintessential RV life types of discussions. So if we find that kind of content interesting, you know, RV life while somebody is still working full-time, stick around. You get the idea. I work full-time, but I don't go into too much detail on this channel about that.
Hi there. Hey. Did you have a good morning? Did you have a good morning? Yeah. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Yeah, my girl.
Okay, Belle, lunchtime walkies. Come on. All right, come on. We won't go far because it's starting to get warm. Try to do some shade hopping. You ready? Shade hopping. Shade hopping. You good? Something else I like to do, we have this harness here. It's a cool harness. Yes, I could wet it, but it also has this pouch. I throw these in. Is this necessary? No, not really. When I can keep it 20 degrees cooler in the living room than it is outside and closer to 25, 27 degrees cooler than it is outside up in the bedroom because there are 2 ACs on our rig, it's not necessary, but it makes me feel better. And I think she kind of likes it too. And this is just how it sits on her. That cooling piece is right back in here. It just helps keep her a little bit extra cool. Like I said, I don't think it's 100% necessary, but just to be safe, and I think she kind of likes it. You know, I won't lie, keeping Belle's cool in really June, July is probably one of the things I worry about the most, but the reality of the situation is that with the 2 ACs that our RV has, I can keep it 20 degrees cooler inside than from what it is outside. And because the bedroom AC it doesn't have as much volume to cool. It's a smaller space. I can keep it about 25 to 27 degrees cooler in the bedroom with that AC than what the temperature is outside. So in the grand scheme of things, reality-wise, I know she's keeping cool. With that in mind, I know that I probably don't need that cooling vest. I like to have it because we do live in South Texas, and if she wants to go for, a longer walk, even at 5 o'clock, I push back the 5 o'clock walk a little bit, but I have that cooling vest and I have more of those little packs to put in there for her evening walks if it's still kind of warm at 5 o'clock when I get home from work. I can push her walk back a little bit, sure, and she, especially if she's gone out kind of real quick at lunchtime, she's generally okay. But I like having that cooling vest and those options just to make me feel a little bit better. I know that she's a husky and that her coat is, you're not supposed to, shave them or cut them. Like their coat helps keep them cool. But I also know that, dogs run a higher temperature anyways. So I always just want to do a few extra things to help make her as comfortable as possible. And that's not even just with the heat. Like, she's our puppy, right? So she gets spoiled an awful lot. And I just want her to be happy and comfortable. So anything I can do to help keep her happy and comfortable, odds are I probably do. I also recognize that not everyone gets to go home every day on their lunch hour. Yes, I do have to get on a freeway, but it's maybe 2 stops on a freeway, so it's really, really kind of a quick drive from work to home. And I definitely like, if we're talking about a daily routine, a day in the life, I definitely like being able to put a break in the middle of my day. I like being able to leave work for an hour and kind of just refocusing, recentering. But I also really like, admittedly, I like coming home and being able to eat leftovers from the night before and not have to spend money that way. I like that we're being cognizant about that. I also like that I get to see Bells in the middle of the day, and that's a comfort break for her. I have a pretty flexible time frame in terms of, if I need to get away for something, I can. But I like the break in the day where I just go home. I can get her. It's not a big walk because it's starting to get warm out at this time, but it's long enough and we can kind of like shade hop a little bit to get to a point where she can at least go and use the bathroom real quick. I like being able to do that. And then like you saw, I don't put that thing on her in the morning because the mornings are actually kind of nice actually. I'll try to do an overlay of some of the other, the app that I use with the temperature stick that I use to help keep an eye on her and the temperature and the humidity levels. But I like being able to come home and put that vest on her just as a little bit of an added comfort for her. But really, I also just like being able to come home and hugging your dog in the middle of the day because you wouldn't want to do that. Bella potty endeavor successful. I'm gonna get back, I'm gonna wash my hands. I am gonna bring you along while I make some dinner. That's at least part of the plan for tonight. Okay, I'm gonna get started on dinner. I'm going to choose to remain hopeful that I can get that MacBook back up and running. But for right now, it's still working. I'm babysitting it off to the side. I'm going to caramelize a bunch of onions because even if that doesn't work, I'll have caramelized onions for recipes for the rest of the week. And that's just going to make me feel better. So we're going to go with that. I'm going to get these thin sliced, get them in the cast iron, we'll go from there. Turn that down a little bit. It should sizzle when we put them in. Some of those end chunks are not as thin as I would prefer, but that's okay. Honestly, we're just going to take the time. I'm in no hurry trying to get that computer MacBook up and running again. Got to babysit it. So we're just gonna take our time. We're gonna make chicken cutlets for dinner, and caramelized onions are gonna go on that sandwich. And I'm gonna, obviously, because this is a lot of onions, I'm gonna have some leftovers for tomorrow, which is gonna make me feel even better. All right, so for this, I'm gonna use a 3-station dredge. Now I just had it on hand, the unseasoned breadcrumbs, so I need to season each bowl here. What I'm using isn't necessarily as important. You use whatever you're going for. I'm going for a little bit of a lemon herb on my chicken cutlet sandwich when all is said and done. So I'm going to use flavors that I think will go with that. And I'm going to season every station just to make sure that at every point things are getting seasoned. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and get everything mixed up, and then we'll go from there. And the eggs, so it goes into the flour first, right? And then it's going to get just kind of dredged in flour, and then we're going to mix the egg up here with a fork here in a second. But it's going to go from the flour to the egg, and it's going to hopefully try to keep on a coating, and then we're going to go into the breadcrumbs. I am keeping an eye on my onions. Just low, gentle heat. Okay, so our dredging stations. The other day, I had some thin sliced chicken, and I seasoned it up as well too the other day. Ooh, I probably wanted this hand in there, but that's okay. Just, do the best you can. Clean hand or wet hand, dry hand, whatever. I can wipe that off there and go back to it. But then this can be my wet hand. It doesn't matter. We're not going to overthink this. At the end of the day, what we're trying to do here is get from the flour to the egg wash. Make sure it's trying to be as coated as we can. Try to rip off any excess. And then we're going to go into the breadcrumbs. And then now with my dry hand, kind of just do one of these. Try to get everything on it. I am air frying these to be a little bit healthier. I find that the panko and the 3 dredge system to be a little bit, it's more helpful when getting some of that crispy exterior with the air fryer. I like the air fryer because it's healthier, but I'm not often a fan of how it just doesn't quite have that same crispy exterior as, say, like deep frying something does. That's okay. I mean, I can deal with it every now and again. I'm in my mid-40s. I'm trying to be healthier, right? Shake off some of the excess. Set it off to the side. I have multiple. I'm going to be able to eat off of this for dinner as well as for lunch tomorrow, so that's going to be helpful. I checked my computer a little bit ago. It still has a couple of hours left on that update. We'll see how that goes. Like it just keeps going down, and then it goes back up, and then the time goes down, and then it goes way back up. Last I checked, for a while it was around 20 minutes, and now it's back up over an hour. So I honestly, I don't know. And it's my MacBook, and I do have an iMac in the office, so it's not the end of the world, even if it just takes a hot second. But I know, first world problems. But at the end of the day, it's just really annoying when you're not sure why a problem exists because it's not something that you initiated. So I'm pretty excited. So this is going to go on a sandwich. After it's air fried, it's going to go on a sandwich with like an lemon herb vinaigrette and some romaine lettuce and provolone. With those caramelized onions, they're still going behind me. They're looking pretty good. I just tended to them just a hot second ago. This is definitely a messy process. But once this part is done, at least it's a little bit cleaner because it's the air fryer as opposed to the actual like fryer and oil. So the bigger piece I'm going to do by itself. I'm going to set this in here. Get this turned on. I am going to try to turn this down from when I tried it last time. I was at around 290 last time. I'm going to try it at 375. And I'm only going to go for about 17 minutes or so. I want some extra crispiness to it, but I am going to double check and keep an eye on it. But then once we have it going, I'm just going to hit start. These are looking amazing. Just going to give them a couple more minutes and then I'll get them turned off. So these are the first two. And I put the other piece in there. I even lowered the temperature just a little bit more. We'll see how those turn out. Honestly, I'm going to chop one of these up and put it on my sandwich. Not chop it up. I'm going to cut it in half and kind of appropriately lay it on my sandwich. The other one will be for tomorrow. I'm going to even have leftovers for tomorrow night for dinner. Okay, back from our walk. It's good Bella time. So I have a piece of just bread here with some provolone cheese on it. We're just going to get the bottom of that toasting and kind of slowly add some of our layers. I put a layer of a garlic spread, and then I'm going to put the layer of provolone cheese. These onions are going to go on next, and then we're just going to then add the chicken cutlet. Once it's toasted on both sides, I'm going to try to pry it open and then add the simply romaine lettuce with an herb vinaigrette. Okay, that's on. Put the lid on, smush it down, cut it up. It really isn't anything fancy, but I know it's going to be good. Those cutlets were good. There's a good romaine lettuce. There's a good vinaigrette. And honestly, just comfort is what's needed right now.